entering into the forest, entering into your deepest self,
Yeah.
right, in a way, yeah. And reconnecting with nature, some of the themes in this book. They're so different from the way also that we hear people talk about ecology and ecofeminism and all of that. I found it very interesting that you chose to tell the story of the book through a woman and women, these Rishikas. But you haven't done it in the way that, like normally when we read or watch something about women and mythology and like a feminist retelling of mythology, you find that it gets fitted into some modern notion of I will take a victim and show that she was really a heroine, right?
Right.
And like it's like revenge drama then, that this story will be a revenge on whatever downtrodden women characters you created. But in fact, that's not what you've done. You've sort of, on the one hand, associated women with earth and yet made something else of that. So I wonder if you could speak about choosing these particular women for your characters and what you were hoping to explore through all of them, and actually in what ways you then saw this idea of the feminine energy or the feminine principle that you're
Right.
exploring in the book.
I think, first of all, if everyone is in consensus that there is one way to tell a story, then something inside me breaks into instant rebellion and I will not do it. So that is one of the reasons why it would not be addressed in that fashion. But what happens is that in a forest, when you step in, you become an animal over and above everything else. You are a small animal. Female animal, secondary thing. But first of all, you're just a little animal with no hair, no horns, no claws, and you get a sense of what the world is like when you're like that, right? So my starting point was a little reference in the Upanishads to a sage called Yajnavalkya, okay? Now, listen very carefully. My book is not about the Aranyaka Upanishad, it is not about the Taittiriya Upanishad, but it does use one tiny little tale to springboard into matters. So the rishi called Yajnavalkya was an undeniably remarkable and knowledgeable and wise person in the multiverses. And he is said to have had a classroom which was very much debate-led, where there were female scholars also, like Gargi, who we have heard of, who came and made impressionable presence over there. But what was of interest to me was that Yajnavalkya was said to have two wives, okay? First was Maitreyi, who was like this brilliant Brahmavadini. She was like, knowledgeable about things. She was his heir intellectually in some ways. And one was Katyayani, who had the intelligence common to women, okay? And this is not said as an honorific title, but in a slightly pejorative fashion. Because when Yajnavalkya decides to leave everything and go on his Vanaprastha, he offers his two wives, let me divide my belongings. And Maitreyi, because she's so above it all, she says, ye kya hai? This is all perishable. I don't want any of this. Give me what is imperishable, which is his knowledge. And Katyayani, although not in these many words, basically says, I'll keep the cash and I'll keep the cows. Okay? And this is seen as a lesser choice in some ways. So my whole premise, and Devdutt and my premise in the entire book, is to question the hierarchy of wisdom. Where does real wisdom lie? Is it necessarily something only with Gurujis in classroom? Or is the woman who's poking the fire and feeding somebody to their satisfaction? Somebody with a kind of wisdom that is also wisdom which we somehow consider lesser. So that was very important for me to investigate. So having chosen this voluptuous woman who likes to eat, nice, lovely, full of appetites, full of desire to feed others, she's my primary protagonist, who was like big of hunger, big of size, big of hair, big of everything. And just because the book is about her learning to see those who are not like her, the other women were physically different and intellectually different. So one was androgynous, lean, dark-skinned. One was, delicate, asexual, wanting to deny her body and only be known for her mind. So, like that.